Let's start with the two most fundamental rules about hand reading. Like many fundamental rules, they may seem obvious, but people get them wrong again and again. The rules are fundamental, though, because they apply to almost any hand reading situation you'll ever have. The first rule is, don't assume your opponents play like you do. That is, you play your way, and your opponents play a different way. You can't figure out what they have just by putting yourselves in their shoes and figuring out what you would have if you had played that way. Your opponents don't play like you do, and if you assume that they do, you can make some big mistakes. Here's a hand a friend of mine played once where he violated this rule. So he was in early position, and he had pocket aces, the ace of spades and the ace of clubs. One player cold called, and both of the blinds called. The flop came 7 of hearts, 7 of diamonds, 3 of diamonds, which looks like a pretty good flop when you have pocket aces. It's all small cards, and there's a pair, so it's unlikely to have hit anyone. Check to my friend with the pocket aces, who bet, and he got raised by the first caller. Since he figured there was very little chance that he could be beaten, he re-raised. The other player raised him again, which was a cap, because this was online. Now his thought process went, well, this player cold called me before the flop, so he's unlikely to have a 7 or a 3. In fact, he probably doesn't even have pocket 3s, because why would he cold call with that? He's probably got a big pocket pair, pocket kings, pocket queens, pocket jacks, a hand that looks good, but that my friend knew wasn't good because he had pocket aces. Anyway, the turn was another blank, 5 of hearts. So he bet again. The guy raised. So he said, well, your kings or queens still are no good, and 3-bet. The guy 4-bet him. So he called. The river was a king. And that card scared my friend because he was worried. He thought his opponent probably had pocket kings, so he was worried that he'd made a full house. So he checked, the guy bet, and he called. And the guy showed him a hand that surprised him. 10 of spades, 7 of spades. So he flop trips after all. It's not that unlikely for people to cold call with weird hands like 10-7 suited. My friend made the grave mistake of assuming that people would play just like him. He wouldn't cold call a raise with the 7, so why would anybody else? Fact is, people don't play like you do, and you have to remember that, or else you're going to lose some big hands. Here's another example, but this one's a hand that I played while I was learning. I open raised early. I had pocket kings, king of spades, king of hearts. 2 players cold called me. The big blind called. The flop came king of diamonds, 7 of diamonds, 5 of hearts. So I had a set of kings and I had the nuts. The only thing I had to worry about really was the diamond flush draw, and I wasn't that worried. So opponent checked, I bet. One of the cold callers called, and then the big blind calls. The turn was the ace of spades. So I still had the nuts except if someone had pocket aces. The big blind bets. I figured he almost certainly doesn't have pocket aces, so I have to have the best hand. Maybe he has an ace, or maybe he's even got 2 pair, like aces and 7s. So I raised, the guy behind me folded, and he 3-bet. I still wasn't sure what he had, but I was pretty sure I had him beat, so I 4-bet. He 5-bet me. I figured there's no way he had pocket aces, because he didn't raise before the flop or on the flop, so I 6-bet. He 7-bet me. At that point, I began to consider the possibility that I was beaten. So I called. The river paired the 5 of spades. He bet and I called. Sure enough, he showed me pocket aces. I was utterly confused. I raised before the flop, and he just called in the big blind after 2 callers with pocket aces. Then on the flop, he just checked and called on a harmless flop like king 7-5. Why didn't he raise before the flop? Why didn't he raise on the flop? I couldn't figure it out. I would have raised it both times. It never even occurred to me that he would have played this hand this way. I just assumed he could never have it because I would never play the hand that way. That was a big mistake, and it ended up costing me a few extra bets that I could have saved.